beneath the surface of bustling highways and quiet suburbs. New Jersey hides a darker secret, a chilling tapestry woven from whispers of the past, tragic tales, and restless spirits. Tonight, we invite you to step into the shadows, where history refuses to die and the unseen lingers. Prepare to journey through the most haunted locales of the Garden State, places where the veil between worlds thins, and every creak could be a spectral visitor. Will you dare to look closer? 1. The Pine Barrens, southern New Jersey. The Pine Barrens, not just a place, but a vast whispering entity, a primeval heart of shadow and dread beating in the chest of southern New Jersey. Its very name conjures images of endless, gnarled pines, sandy soil stained with iron, and acidic bogs that swallow secrets whole. Here, civilization thins to nothing, and the world retreats, leaving behind a sprawling wilderness where the boundary between reality and nightmare is terrifyingly thin, almost non-existent. For centuries, this desolate expanse has been the crucible of New Jersey's deepest fears, the breeding ground for legends that curdle the blood and haunt the waking mind. The air itself feels ancient, heavy with the unnumbered stories of the lost, the mad, and the unspeakable. Deeper within, where the sun struggles to pierce the dense canopy, lie forgotten ghost towns like Batstow and Whitespog, their abandoned structures standing as skeletal monuments to lives consumed by the barren earth. Footsteps echo in their empty halls, not from the living but from spectral inhabitants who refuse to leave. Their lingering presence is a palpable chill against the skin. Many claim to hear faint, mournful cries carried on the wind, the ghostly wails of those who ventured too deep and never returned. But no tale chills the bone quite like that of the Jersey Devil, a creature born of fire and brimstone, with leathery wings, a horse-like head, and glowing red eyes. For over 250 years, reports of this monstrous cryptid have persisted, describing its blood-curdling screech echoing through the pines, its grotesque form flitting through the moonlit clearings. Is it a demonic spawn, a cursed child, or something far older? An elemental malevolence woven into the very fabric of this land locals known as Pineys. Whisper of strange lights in the sky, unearthly animal mutilations, and an ever-present feeling of being watched by unseen, ancient eyes from the deepest thickets. The stagnant waters of the bogs reflect a sky that often seems to bleed, and the wind, when it moves, carries the faint, sweet scent of decay, a constant reminder of the unseen horrors that undoubtedly lurk just beyond the reach of human understanding. To enter the Pine Barrens is not merely to visit a location, it is to submit to an experience, a descent into a primal fear that strips away all pretenses of safety and order. It is a place where the darkness isn't just an absence of light, but a living, breathing entity, perpetually hungry, eternally patient. Step carefully, for the very ground beneath your feet remembers ancient evils, and the shadows here are not merely shadows, but hungry, waiting forms, ready to embrace the unwary into the heart of New Jersey's ultimate, unending nightmare. 2 Clinton Road, West Milford, Passaic County, New Jersey. Clinton Road is not merely a path, it is a scar etched into the very fabric of New Jersey, a labyrinthine artery of dread that pulsates with stories so dark, so bizarre, they defy explanation. For those brave or foolish enough to traverse its winding length in West Milford, Passaic County. The journey is less about reaching a destination and more about confronting the very edge of reality, where the veil between worlds seems torn and bleeding. The road itself is a spectral entity, shrouded by an ancient, suffocating canopy of trees that permits only the most anemic slivers of moonlight to pierce the perpetual gloom. Here, cell signals die, leaving adventurers isolated in a pocket of profound, unnatural silence that is often broken by inexplicable sounds, disembodied whispers, the rustle of unseen creatures in the dense undergrowth, or the distant, chilling echo of a laugh that carries no joy. Locals speak of time distortions, where minutes can feel like hours, and the road seems to stretch on endlessly, trapping its unwitting visitors in a sinister temporal loop. The most infamous legend centers around Dead Man's Curve and the Stone Arch Bridge. It is said that if you toss a coin into the murky waters beneath the bridge, the ghost of a young boy struck and killed by a car decades ago will return it to you. But beware, some claim he isn't always alone, and the spectral touch of unseen hands is a common, terrifying experience. Phantom headlights, appearing suddenly from the darkness only to vanish without a trace, are a frequent occurrence, often attributed to the spirits of dead truck drivers or even malevolent entities playing cruel tricks. Cryptids, too, are whispered about. Tales of strange, dog-like creatures with glowing eyes, or even unexplained animalistic howls that pierce the night. Beyond the specters and cryptids, Clinton Road holds a darker history. The decaying ruins of what was once known as the Witch's House stand as a testament to alleged occult rituals and animal sacrifices, their crumbling stones still reeking of forgotten malevolence. Witnesses have reported encountering strange figures, cultists performing unholy rites in the dead of night, their fires casting long, dancing shadows that seem to welcome infernal presences. The air along this stretch of tarmac is perpetually heavy, thick with an almost tangible sense of ancient dread, as if the very ground remembers every scream, every act of depravity, every lost soul consumed by its unholy allure. Yet, even this notorious stretch of infernal asphalt is but a prelude, a mere warning before we descend into the heart of New Jersey's ultimate, most ancient horror, a sprawling so primeval wilderness where the very earth breathes malevolence, and legends walk with cloven hooves and burning eyes. 3. Shades of Death Road, Great Meadows, Warren County, New Jersey. Shades of Death Road. The very name is a whispered warning, an epitaph for a stretch of winding tarmac in Great Meadows. Warren County, New Jersey, where the shadows cling longer, and the air itself seems to hum with the echoes of countless tragedies. It is a place where ancient trees form an oppressive canopy, filtering the sunlight into pale, spectral shafts, and where every turn feels like a step deeper into a pervasive, unsettling gloom. Local lore offers chilling explanations for its ominous moniker, from a historical haven for murderous highwaymen to a cursed land plagued by disease outbreaks and a horrifying spate of suicides along its desolate path. Travelers daring enough to venture down this road speak of an inescapable dread, a feeling of being constantly watched by unseen eyes from the impenetrable depths of the woods. Nearby lies the eerily still waters of Ghost Lake, or Lake Solitude, perpetually shrouded in a thin, chilling mist that seems to dance with phantom forms. Here, apparitions are said to glide above the surface, and disembodied cries often pierce the oppressive silence. One pervasive legend speaks of the ghost of the White Lady, a spectral figure, forever searching for justice after a brutal murder on the road centuries ago. Her translucent form sometimes glimpsed floating between the ancient trees, a testament to enduring torment. Cars have been known to inexplicably stall, their engines dying with a sudden, unsettling shudder, leaving occupants stranded in the profound darkness. Witnesses recount sudden, inexplicable drops in temperature, the faint, sickening scent of decay on the wind, and the unnerving sensation of cold, spectral breath on their necks. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures darting between the dense foliage, or heard faint, guttural whispers carried on a breeze that tastes of dust and forgotten fear. Shades of Death Road is not just a path through the woods. It is a malevolent entity unto itself, a living monument to human suffering and the lingering echoes of violent ends, where every rustle of leaves could be the approach of something ancient and unspeakable. Yet, even this corridor of despair holds but a fraction of the darkness that awaits. For some roads are not merely haunted, they are gateways. Labyrinthine pathways into a realm where the veil between worlds is gossamer thin, and primal evil lurks around every bend, leading us to a place whispered about only in the most hushed, fearful tones. 4. Devil's Tree. Basking Ridge, New Jersey. Nestled in an isolated field in Basking Ridge stands the Devil's Tree, an ancient, solitary oak whose gnarled branches twist like skeletal fingers against the bruised twilight sky. It is not merely a tree, it is a sentinel of sorrow, a monument to malevolence, and a potent magnet for every whispered fear and dark legend in New Jersey. The very air around it feels different, heavy with an oppressive silence that seems to swallow all sound, leaving only the frantic beat of one's own heart. Local lore insists that this tree, scarred and ancient, is a cursed entity, a focal point for inexplicable evil, where the ground beneath it never freezes, even in the harshest winter, radiating an unsettling warmth that betrays its sinister nature. For generations, stories have clung to its bark like parasitic moss. The most chilling tale recounts a farmer, driven to madness, who murdered his entire family before taking his own life by hanging himself from one of the tree's stout limbs. His tormented spirit is said to remain, forever dangling, a shadowy specter swaying in the unseen breeze. It's rumored that anyone foolish enough to attempt to cut down the Devil's Tree will be met with swift, unexplainable tragedy, their chainsaws failing, their vehicles stalling, or worse, succumbing to fatal accidents shortly after. Many have reported a sudden and profound drop in temperature when approaching, or the unnerving sensation of unseen eyes watching their every move from the depths of its impenetrable shadow. Whispers abound of dark rituals performed beneath its canopy, of cloaked figures gathering on moonless nights, and of strange and flickering lights dancing amongst its ancient leaves. The tree itself possesses an almost predatory aura. Its bark, deeply furrowed, and seems to contort into grotesque faces, forever screaming silent agony. Visitors brave enough to venture too close often describe a feeling of profound unease, a gnawing dread that sinks deep into the bones. Cars passing by have been known to inexplicably stall or suffer sudden mechanical failures upon reaching its immediate vicinity, leaving their occupants stranded in its ominous presence. Some claim to have seen faint, shimmering apparitions emerge from the trunk, fleeting glimpses of distorted faces or elongated shadows that seem to melt back into the tree's dark embrace. It is a place where nature's beauty has been utterly consumed by an ancient, enduring evil, leaving behind a living monument to human suffering and unexplained dread. The Devil's Tree stands as a grim testament to concentrated evil. But sometimes malevolence isn't confined to a single, rooted entity. Sometimes it permeates an entire stretch of desolate landscape, leading us down a path where every turn is shadowed by death itself, towards a road whispered about only in hushed, fearful tones. 5. Greystone Park. Psychiatric Hospital, Morris Plains, New Jersey. The wind, tasting of rust and forgotten tears, howls through the skeletal remains of Greystone Park Psychiatric Hospital, carrying with it the phantom echoes of countless tormented souls. Once a grand edifice promising healing, this sprawling, decaying asylum now stands as a monument to human suffering, its vast, empty wards and labyrinthine corridors saturated with a palpable sense of ancient, unexplainable malevolence. Here, where minds fractured and lives were lost to despair, the veil between worlds is chillingly thin, allowing the ceaseless anguish of its former residents to linger, etched into every crumbling wall and shattered window pane. To venture within its colossal shadow is to step into a realm of pervasive psychological dread. The air itself feels heavy, frigid in unexpected pockets, as if the breath of the dead still chills the living. Disembodied whispers slither from unseen corners, sometimes coherent, sometimes a cacophony of moans and pleas, while the phantom clatter of gurneys and the creak of unseen restraints reverberate through the desolate silence. Visitors frequently report vivid apparitions, shadowy figures lurking at the periphery of vision, pale faces peering from broken windows, and the terrifying sensation of being watched by hollow, sorrowful eyes from the depths of forgotten cells where patients were subjected to unimaginable treatments. Legends abound of the spirits who refuse to abandon their former prison. Tales speak of a nurse who tirelessly roams the upper floors, forever tending to unseen patients, her footsteps echoing with an eerie regularity. Others tell of the violent spirits of those who died in isolation, their rage manifesting as slamming doors, dislodged objects, and sudden, inexplicable shoves. The sheer volume of human pain, neglect, and tragic loss suffered within these walls has imprinted itself so deeply that the very structure seems to breathe with a restless, agonizing sentience, a lingering question of what truly transpired in its darkest corners. Greystone Park is not merely a ruin, it is a repository of fractured minds and lost humanity. Every brick, every cold slab then seems imbued with the agonizing memories of those who faded away here, their pleas for mercy and sanity forever silenced, yet eternally reverberating through its desolate, decaying halls. It stands as a stark, haunting reminder that some prisons, even when abandoned, are forever occupied by the tormented souls they once contained. From the echoing halls of forgotten madness and the ceaseless lament of confined spirits, our journey twists towards a darkness that clings not to brick and mortar, but to the very sinews of the earth, where an ancient, gnarled evil has taken root beneath a canopy of despair. 6. Burlington County Prison Museum, Mount Holly, New Jersey. Within the somber, imposing stone walls of the Burlington County Prison Museum, a chilling echo of past injustices and unimaginable suffering persists, clinging to every cold surface and rusting iron bar. This grim edifice, operational from 1839 to 1965, was a place where despair became a palpable presence, where lives were broken and often ended in silent agony. Now, long after the last living inmate departed, its spectral residents continue their eternal vigil. Their torment woven into the very fabric of the building, transforming it into a monument of lingering dread. To step inside is to be enveloped by an oppressive silence, broken only by the creak of unseen footsteps, the faint clatter of chains, or the distant, mournful cries that seem to emanate from the deepest recesses of the solitary confinement cells, the notorious dungeon. Here, in the suffocating darkness, where prisoners endured unimaginable psychological and physical torture, the air grows heavy and frigid, often accompanied by the distinct, sickening scent of decay and despair. Visitors report being touched by unseen hands, hearing whispers in languages long forgotten, and witnessing cell doors slam shut with inexplicable force. Legends abound of the restless spirits who refuse to leave their stone confines. Among the most frequently encountered is the specter of Warden John H. Wilkins, a man whose life ended within the prison walls, reportedly by suicide. His imposing, shadowy form is said to patrol the cell blocks, a perpetual guardian of the damned, his footsteps echoing with an eerie regularity. Many have also reported encounters with former inmates, their hollow eyes and emaciated forms appearing suddenly in dark corners, only to vanish into the oppressive shadows, leaving behind a profound sense of sorrow and injustice. The energy of countless lives, trapped and extinguished here, is overwhelmingly potent, fostering a pervasive feeling of being watched, judged, and perhaps even condemned. The Burlington County Prison Museum is not merely a historical site, it is a repository of raw, unadulterated suffering. Every brick, every cold stone slab seems imbued with the agonizing memories of those who perished within its grasp, their pleas for mercy and freedom forever silenced, yet eternally reverberating through its desolate halls. It serves as a haunting reminder that some prisons, even when empty, are forever occupied by the tormented souls they once contained. From the ironclad torment of incarcerated spirits, our journey presses onward to another institution where souls were confined, not by bars, but by their own fractured minds, a place whose very name evokes an ancient, unsettling echo of madness and forgotten pain. 7. Ringwood Manor, Ringwood, New Jersey. Deep within the emerald embrace of the Ramapo Mountains, where ancient trees stand as silent sentinels to forgotten industries, lies Ringwood Manor, a sprawling estate whose very foundations are steeped in centuries of human ambition, triumph, and profound sorrow. More than a mere historical landmark, this grand mansion, built upon the remnants of colonial ironworks, has become a silent repository for countless lives, their emotional imprints, and their restless spirits, creating an atmosphere so thick with the unseen that some whisper the house itself breathes. To wander through its numerous rooms is to step into a living tapestry of history, each thread pulled taut by the lingering presences of its former inhabitants. The air shifts with an unsettling chill in certain corridors, a sudden drop in temperature that speaks not of drafts, but of spectral passage. Visitors and staff alike have recounted encounters with full-bodied apparitions, including children playing in empty rooms, their phantom laughter echoing faintly before dissolving into the oppressive silence. The grand staircase, having witnessed generations ascend and descend, is particularly noted for disembodied footsteps and the rustle of unseen garments. Among the most frequently reported specters is a lady in white, believed to be a member of the wealthy Hewitt family who owned the manor for generations. Her mournful presence is often felt in the master bedrooms, a silent sentinel to a past filled with both opulence and hidden despair. In the vast drawing rooms, the faint strains of piano music are sometimes heard, though no one is playing, suggesting a lingering performance from an era long gone. Objects are known to move on their own accord, doors creak open when no one is near, and the pervasive feeling of being watched, An eerie sensation of unseen eyes following every move permeates the entire estate. The extensive grounds, too, hold their share of the inexplicable. Shadows lengthen and contort with a life of their own under the pale moonlight, and whispers carried on the wind taste of ancient secrets and forgotten pleas. Ringwood Manor is not just a house haunted by a few specific ghosts. It feels imbued with the collective consciousness of all who lived, loved, and died within its walls and on its lands, from the toil of the iron miners to the quiet heartbreaks of the manor's aristocratic residents. It is a place where the past refuses to recede, a monumental vessel holding centuries of tormented energy. Ringwood Manor challenges the very notion of time, suggesting that some stories, though some souls, are simply too potent to ever truly pass on. It stands as a chilling monument to the indelible mark humanity leaves upon the earth, a place where the veil between worlds feels perpetually thin. From the layered, aristocratic hauntings of Ringwood Manor, our journey next takes us to a place where suffering was not merely an echo, but a brutal and inescapable reality, a grim edifice whose stone walls were designed to contain the living, but now entrap the dead in an eternal, harrowing vigil. 8. Proprietary House, Perth Amboy, New Jersey. In the ancient port city of Perth Amboy, where the waters of the Raritan Bay whisper secrets of centuries past, stands the Proprietary House, a grand, imposing structure that was once destined to be the heart of colonial power. But within its stately walls, intended for royal governors and lavish balls, a far more chilling legacy has taken root here. The echoes of ambition, betrayal, and sorrow cling to every ornate detail, turning a historical landmark into a haunting tableau of forgotten grandeur and restless spirits. Step inside, and the air itself feels weighted, thick with the unsaid and the unseen. The opulence of its past is now overshadowed by a pervasive sense of melancholy, as if the very stone pines for a time long gone, or perhaps for release from its eternal vigil. Whispers are said to drift through the stately rooms, disembodied conversations from a bygone era, too faint to discern, yet too present to ignore. Visitors often speak of sudden, inexplicable drops in temperature, pockets of profound cold that prickle the skin and hint at a non-human presence sharing the space. The most prominent lingering specter is believed to be that of William Franklin, New Jersey's last royal governor and the estranged son of Benjamin Franklin. His portrait, hanging in the house, is said to watch visitors with an unsettling intensity, and his presence is often felt in his former study. Yet it is not just the governor who refuses to depart. A mournful woman in white, thought to be his wife, Elizabeth, who died tragically within these very walls, is seen gliding through corridors, her silent sorrow a palpable entity that chills the heart. The faint, distant cries of a baby, or the playful, fleeting laughter of unseen children, have also been reported, adding a layer of poignant mystery to the mansion's grim reputation, suggesting not all who passed through its doors found peace. Beyond these aristocratic phantoms, darker energies are sometimes sensed, particularly in the lower levels and attic areas where servants toiled and perhaps where untold suffering occurred. Shadows seem to deepen and move with an intelligence of their own. Doors creak open and shut without a breeze, and objects, once stationary, are found subtly shifted, as if a spectral hand had merely rearranged them. The unsettling feeling is one of being observed, scrutinized by eyes that pierce through the veil of time, belonging to beings forever bound to their colonial past. Unable or unwilling to relinquish their hold on this magnificent, yet tormented, dwelling. The Proprietary house is more than a historical artifact. It is a meticulously preserved prison for souls, a place where the echoes of colonial power struggles and personal tragedies play out on an endless, spectral loop. It challenges visitors to confront the idea that the past is never truly gone, but merely waits in the shadows, ready to make its presence known. To walk its halls is to become a silent witness to a history that refuses to stay buried, a chilling reminder that some legacies are eternal, even in death. From the confined, stately sorrow of the Proprietary house, our journey continues, leading us deeper into the heart of New Jersey's most secluded and ancient terrors, to a manor whose very name suggests a dark lineage and an even darker haunting. 9. The Spy House, Marlboro, New Jersey. Step across the threshold of the Spy House in Marlboro, and you're not merely entering a colonial-era dwelling. You're stepping into an archive of secrets, betrayals, and lingering specters. Here, the very foundations seem to hum with the echoes of a distant war and untold tragedies, each floorboard a witness to centuries of hidden lives and restless deaths. Built in the mid-1700s, this homestead served as a vital tavern, a safe haven, and a clandestine lookout during the Revolutionary War, its walls absorbing the hushed whispers of patriots and the wary glances of British soldiers. The air inside is often heavy, charged with a palpable sense of observation, as if unseen eyes follow every move. Legend claims General Lafayette sought refuge within its secret passages, and perhaps his spirit, ever watchful, still roams its darkened halls. But he is far from alone. Visitors frequently report encountering the spectral figures of British soldiers, their disembodied footsteps echoing on the stairs, or their gaunt faces briefly appearing in the periphery of vision, fading as quickly as they emerge. A persistent and chilling presence is that of Eliza, a woman in white, whose sorrowful apparition has been seen gliding through rooms, her story lost to time, her melancholy presence imprinted forever upon the house. The house is a symphony of unsettling sounds, the distant, phantom clatter of colonial-era dinnerware, the sudden, inexplicable chill that sweeps through a warm room, carrying with it scents of old pipe tobacco or wilting roses. Children's laughter, eerily out of place in the profound silence, has been heard from empty nurseries, suggesting that even the innocent are bound to this storied past. Objects have been known to move, doors latch and unlatch with an unseen hand, and lights flicker with an intelligence that defies explanation, leaving many to wonder if they are truly alone, or merely guests in a house ruled by its spectral inhabitants. The Spy House doesn't just display history, it relives it. Its hidden passages, once used for clandestine meetings and quick escapes, now seem to serve as conduits for the restless spirits trapped between worlds, forever replaying their roles in a silent, endless drama. The psychological toll of being in such an environment is profound, a constant sense of unease, a gnawing suspicion that history isn't just recorded in books, but is actively unfolding around you, a testament to torment and forgotten lives. To visit the Spy House is to become part of its continuing narrative, to feel the cold breath of the past on your neck, and to question the very fabric of reality. It's a place where the line between the living and the dead blurs, leaving a haunting impression that some secrets are simply too heavy to ever truly be buried. From the intimate colonial confines of the Spy House, our journey now takes us to a grander, more imposing structure, one built on power, privilege, and the secrets of early American governance. A mansion whose stately facade conceals a history far darker than its opulent exterior suggests. 10. Waterloo Village, Stanhope. New Jersey, step into Waterloo Village, and the silence isn't merely the absence of sound, it's a profound, heavy hush, thick with the weight of forgotten lives. This meticulously restored 19th-century canal town, nestled alongside the Musconetcong River, feels less like a historical exhibit and more like a stage where the actors have simply paused, forever awaiting their next cue. Each weathered plank and creaking floorboard seems to hold the faint echo of laughter, sorrow, and toil, an unseen tapestry woven from the lives of those who built and lived within its walls. But for those sensitive enough to perceive it, Waterloo is more than just preserved history. It is a vibrant, unsettling testament to the spirits who refuse to relinquish their earthly abode. The air itself in Waterloo often feels charged with a subtle, yet undeniable presence. Visitors and staff alike frequently report the phantom scent of wood smoke from long extinguished hearths, the distant murmur of voices seemingly carried on a wind that tastes of rust and damp earth, and inexplicable cold spots that drift through the mill, the church, and the old general store. In the dimly lit windows of the once bustling inn, shadowy figures have been glimpsed, often described as period-clad apparitions gazing out onto the empty streets. Their expressions a chilling blend of longing and perpetual unrest. Some claim these are the spectral patrons and innkeepers, eternally bound to their roles, trapped in a loop of their former existence, beyond the specific manifestations. Waterloo carries a pervasive sense of psychological dread, a feeling of being watched by countless unseen eyes from every shadowed doorway and vacant window. Doors are known to open and close on their own accord. Objects subtly shift positions, and the heavy rhythmic thrum of the old grist mill can sometimes be heard late at night, despite its machinery being long dormant. Local lore also ties the village to the ancient Lenni Lenape people who once inhabited these lands, suggesting that the very ground holds a deeper, more primal energy, possibly awakening older, more inexplicable entities that predate the colonial structures, adding an almost oppressive layer of malevolence to the village's already haunting atmosphere. Waterloo Village is not merely a collection of old buildings, it is a meticulously preserved moment, a collective memory held fast by unseen hands, a place where the veil between then and now thins to an almost unbearable transparency, trapping all who linger in its melancholic embrace. From the collective echoes of an entire forgotten village, our journey now narrows to a single, unassuming dwelling, where the walls themselves seem to hold secrets whispered in shadows, and every corner hides the watchful eyes of the long-departed. 11. Southern Mansion, Cape May, New Jersey. The grand Italianate architecture of the Southern Mansion in Cape May rises like a stately sentinel against the sea breeze, a testament to 19th-century opulence. Yet, beneath its meticulously restored facade and the genteel hum of a modern bed and breakfast, an ethereal guest holds court, her delicate, restless spirit forever tied to the very foundations of this magnificent home. It is said that Clementine, the young niece of the mansion's original owner, George Allen, never truly left the lavish rooms where she spent her tragically brief life. Her presence now a whisper in the opulent halls, a faint scent of forgotten roses drifting on the evening air. Built in 1863, the Southern Mansion exudes an old-world charm, its ornate details and antique furnishings inviting visitors to step back in time. But for many, That step takes them further back than they anticipate, into a realm where the past is not merely remembered but actively relived by spectral inhabitants. The most famous of these is Clementine, a spirit often described as an elegant young woman in period attire, seen gliding through her former bedroom or peeking from the grand staircase before vanishing into thin air. Her manifestations are often subtle, an inexplicable waft of sweet rose perfume in an otherwise scentless room, or the fleeting glimpse of a shadowy figure at the periphery of one's vision, leaving behind a profound sense of having encountered something truly other. Beyond Clementine, other unseen residents are believed to wander these hallowed halls. Guests and staff frequently report unexplained cold spots that drift through rooms regardless of the season. Disembodied voices murmuring just beyond comprehension, and the unsettling sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. Objects, particularly in the older parts of the house, have been known to subtly rearrange themselves, or doors that were firmly closed found mysteriously ajar, opening and closing as if an invisible servant is still tending to their duties. Each occurrence is a gentle, yet firm reminder that the southern mansion is not solely inhabited by the living. The psychological dread here isn't born of malice, but of the pervasive, eerie feeling of sharing your space with those perpetually trapped in their most cherished memories. Their yearning to interact still strong. The southern mansion stands as a beautiful, yet haunting paradox, a beacon of historical preservation that simultaneously serves as an eternal stage for its past inhabitants. Clementine and her spectral companions are not mere legends, they are a lingering presence, an indelible part of the mansion's enduring story, forever reminding us that even the most elegant facades can hide the most restless of souls, eternally yearning for connection across the veil. From the dignified, yet unsettling elegance of a seaside mansion's lingering spirits, our journey now turns to a sprawling, forgotten village, where not just one home, but an entire community's past refuses to rest in peace, its silent structures echoing with collective, ancient tales of sorrow and despair. 12 Union Hotel, Flemington, New Jersey. The ornate facade of the Union Hotel in Flemington, New Jersey, speaks of a bygone era of lavish balls and whispered secrets, yet behind its elegant exterior, a different kind of guest checks in nightly those who never truly departed. Built in 1877, this historic inn has stood as a silent witness to countless human dramas. But it is the spectral echoes of its past patrons and staff that truly linger, transforming mere historical charm into a chilling, unsettling presence. Within its venerable walls, the air itself often feels heavy, laden with an inexplicable chill that defies the warmth of the roaring fireplaces. Guests and staff alike have reported a myriad of uncanny occurrences. Phantom footsteps are heard ascending and descending the grand, sweeping staircase, or pacing in the deserted upper hallways, always just out of sight. Disembodied whispers, sometimes forlorn, sometimes vaguely menacing, drift from empty rooms, causing the hair on one's arms to prickle with a primal dread. There are tales of an elderly woman, perhaps a former long-term resident, whose presence is marked by a sudden, sweet scent of lavender or the rustle of unseen fabric passing by. Others speak of a mischievous boy, whose ghostly giggles echo through the night, or who is seen briefly at the edge of one's vision, only to vanish into the shadowed corners. The most profound experiences often occur on the second floor, in rooms where the antique furniture seems to hum with ancient, restless energy. Objects have been known to shift on their own, Lights flicker independently of electrical issues, and doors inexplicably open and close, as if invisible hands are still going about their daily routines. The pervasive feeling is one of being constantly observed, of sharing your space with unseen entities who are far from welcoming, their lingering essence a testament to unresolved stories and attachments to this earthly abode. The Union Hotel is a place where the barrier between the living and the departed feels dangerously thin, where the echoes of joy and sorrow from over a century ago play out in an eternal, chilling loop. One must wonder if the hotel itself has become a magnet for souls unable to move on, trapping them within its opulent, yet increasingly decaying embrace. The Union Hotel stands not merely as a building of historical significance, but as a spectral sanctuary, forever occupied by guests who, for reasons unknown, simply refuse to check out. From the quiet, unsettling permanence of an old hotel's spectral residence, we journey to a grander, more imposing structure, a stately mansion by the sea, where elegance and the supernatural intertwine, and the spirits of its distinguished past continue to hold court in lavish, lingering detail. 13. Cape May Lighthouse, Cape May, New Jersey. A chill wind, carrying the brine-laced scent of the churning Atlantic, whips around the solitary tower of Cape May Lighthouse, a sentinel against the relentless sea. Visitors often speak of a profound sense of not being alone, even when standing in its empty, echoing spiral stairwell, a feeling intensified by the faint rhythmic creak of unseen footsteps descending from the lantern room above. For over 160 years, this iconic beacon has pierced the darkest nights, guiding sailors through treacherous waters, its light a stark contrast to the shadowy depths it guards. But for some, the lighthouse holds more than just a guiding beam. It harbors the lingering spirits of those who once tended its flame, or perhaps those who met their end within sight of its stoic form. The very air inside its thick stone walls seems to hum with ancient energies, a testament to countless lives passed beneath its watchful eye. The winding, 199-step cast-iron staircase, a dizzying ascent, is the primary stage for many spectral encounters. Accounts tell of phantom footsteps, heavy and deliberate, echoing when no one else is present, suggesting a spectral keeper still performing their eternal rounds. The most persistent legend whispers of a female entity, sometimes seen as a shadowy figure, sometimes felt as a sudden, profound chill that pricks the skin. Is she a heartbroken lover awaiting a sailor who never returned, a distraught soul who plunged from its heights? Or perhaps a diligent assistant keeper, forever bound to her duty? Guests and staff have reported doors inexplicably opening and closing, lights flickering with a life of their own, and the unsettling sensation of being watched from the dark corners of the upper levels. Within the lantern room, where the powerful beam sweeps across the ocean, a palpable sense of melancholic longing can overwhelm those who linger, an emotional echo of long-forgotten sorrow. The wind, roaring outside the thick glass, sometimes carries what sounds like faint, mournful whistles or disembodied whispers, mingling with the natural sounds of the sea to create an unsettling, otherworldly symphony. The Cape May Lighthouse stands as a stark monument, a stoic guardian battling the elements, yet it seems to have inadvertently become a permanent home for the restless. Its unwavering light guides ships, but what unseen souls does it perhaps trap within its ancient embrace? The persistent presence within its walls suggests that not every light seeks to guide. Some merely flicker in eternal torment, bound to the very structure designed to keep others safe. From the isolation of a towering beacon where spectral guardians walk the steps, we turn our gaze inland to a historic inn whose welcoming facade belies the chilling tales of restless patrons who checked in, but never truly departed. 14. Historic Village at Allaire, Farmingdale, New Jersey. A child's faint laughter, airy and ethereal, drifts through the crisp autumn air, echoing from the empty, historic schoolhouse. Yet, when one rounds the corner, only the silence of aged wood and forgotten lessons remains, leaving an unsettling stillness that suggests a presence just beyond sight. Nestled within the heart of New Jersey, the historic village at Allaire stands frozen in time, a meticulously preserved 19th century industrial village. It was once the bustling Howell Works, a self-sufficient community forged by ironmaster James P. Allaire. Today, its quaint cottages, general store, and church invite visitors to step back into a simpler era. But beneath the facade of historical charm, an unsettling truth lingers. Some residents, it seems, have never truly left. The wind, which carries the faint scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, often seems to whisper names long forgotten, weaving through structures where the weight of past lives is almost palpable. The air, particularly within the deeper shadows of the foreman's house or the old bakery, can suddenly drop to an unnatural chill, a subtle warning of unseen company. Tales abound of spectral inhabitants who refuse to relinquish their claim on Allaire. General Allaire himself is said to oversee his former domain, his phantom footsteps echoing through the manor house at dusk, a lingering sense of his stern presence felt by those who wander its halls alone. Visitors report fleeting glimpses of a woman in white gliding through the grounds, her face a blur of ancient sorrow, forever searching. Most chilling are the accounts of the children. Their disembodied giggles and faint cries are heard near the playground and the schoolhouse, a heart-wrenching reminder of lives cut short too soon. Tools are said to clang in the empty blacksmith shop, phantom smoke rising from an unlit forge, a restless reenactment of the village's industrious past. Even the old chapel is not immune, with a profound sense of unexplainable melancholy settling upon those who dare to linger within its silent pews, as if forgotten prayers still cling to the rafters. The village, for all its daytime charm, transforms under the pale moonlight. Shadows stretch long and deep, seeming to animate with unseen figures dancing along the worn paths. It's not just the stories, but the pervasive feeling of being watched, the subtle shifts in the atmosphere that truly unnerve. One is left to question whether the meticulous preservation of Allaire has inadvertently created a sanctuary for its former inhabitants, trapping their restless spirits between worlds. Are they merely echoes, or do these spectral residents actively resent the intrusion into their eternal slumber? Their silent, lingering presence serves as a chilling testament that history, when deeply etched into the land, can refuse to stay buried. From the preserved echoes of a forgotten village, where the spirits of daily life refuse to fade, our journey guides us toward a beacon of light, standing solitary against the churning ocean, yet rumored to guard secrets far darker than any storm. 15. Palace of Depression, Vineland, New Jersey. They say that despair, then when left to fester, can take on a physical form. In Vineland, New Jersey, it manifests as the Palace of Depression, a skeletal monument born from one man's broken dreams and the refuse of a nation in ruin. This isn't merely a building, it's a twisted shrine, an architectural fever dream erected by the eccentric spiritualist George Daner, who, disillusioned by the Great Depression, envisioned a defiant counterpoint to a crumbling world. Daner constructed his palace from anything he could salvage: discarded railroad ties, car parts, bottles, and scrap metal, all painstakingly fitted together in a haphazard, yet strangely compelling mosaic of decay. He claimed it was a warning, a physical manifestation of society's materialistic folly. Yet, after his death, the structure itself succumbed to the very ruin it sought to critique, becoming a haunting shell of its former self, its original purpose now a mere echo within its crumbling walls. Visitors to the Palace of Depression often speak of an unsettling atmosphere that clings to the very air, a chill that has nothing to do with the weather. Some report sudden, inexplicable cold spots, particularly within its labyrinthine interior, as if an unseen presence brushes past. The wind, tasting of rust and forgotten ambitions, whispers through shattered windows, carrying faint, mournful laments that seem to echo Daner's own despair. Eyewitness accounts include disembodied whispers and the phantom sounds of tools clanking, leading many to believe that Daner himself, a restless spirit, still wanders his strange, derelict creation, endlessly tinkering with the detritus of a bygone era. The shadows here are not merely an absence of light. They seem to dance with unseen figures, mirroring the fragmented lives and shattered hopes that built this monument to futility. The Palace of Depression stands as a stark reminder that even hope, when warped by tragedy, that can leave behind a spectral imprint. It's a place where the pervasive feeling of being trapped between worlds is almost palpable, where the weight of countless forgotten sorrows clings to the very walls, leaving a lingering question: does the spirit of the builder truly watch over his legacy? Or is it the collective despair of an entire generation that forever haunts this strange, beautiful ruin? From this unique monument to human anguish, where twisted vision meets enduring decay, we journey onward to a place where history is meticulously preserved. Yet perhaps the spirits of its past residents refuse to be confined to the annals of time, choosing instead to linger amongst the living. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this chilling journey, don't forget to like, comment with your favorite haunted location, and subscribe for more weekly videos from the shadows.